We are back with another episode of Chef's Kiss. It's me and John back on Chef's Kiss. What's up, John?
What's up, buddy? How's it going, man?
Dude, fantastic. Another Monday night. We're ready to record.
You ditched me last week, so I hopefully it was for good reason. What was going on last week? I know you had a special guest.
I did, yeah. We had Gino on from Bet Openly. So
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's very, he has his betting platform that's reduced juice and all that kind of stuff. So I've known him for a while now and have been pretty close to him. So we like to cross-pollinate every once in a while, send stuff to his audience, send stuff to our audience, cross-pollination. And that's how
Nice, dude.
how
I get
we
it.
grow. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Cross-promote, my man. Mm-hmm. No hat today. I think this might be the only pod you've ever done without a hat on.
And I thought about it too, because
And it's weird because I don't do many pods with hats on, so that's weird.
I gotta stop saying I listen to this back all the time, and
You say a lot.
I cringe how much I say it.
I probably say it a lot too.
Anyway, I was walking earlier. I wore a hat all day long, and then I came back and I showered, and I'm like, I didn't put a hat on. I'm just comfortable, and yeah. So there's my bald ass head, but I did buy 2 hats today.
Can we see them?
I bought them online.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you all about them. It actually goes into one of our topics later. It is like our third topic. It's our third topic. We'll bring it up there.
Sweet.
About my hats and stuff. So yeah,
Let's do it, man. So I was on Twitter, and this local sports dad picked the wrong ref to mess with. I want to share my screen so our audience can see it.
Can I just point out, John, that it is in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and this is the most on-brand thing.
Oh my god,
for Fort Wayne, Indiana.
dude, he just pile drives him.
Ref has a great takedown. Kids are laughing. But
let's watch it again.
This is very on brand for Fort Wayne, Indiana.
I used to live in Fort Wayne, Indiana when I was really young. Okay, so he misses, and this ref is like, fuck it, and just takes him down.
How many cliches were there, John? Does he have bedazzled jeans on? Does he have white Oakley sunglasses, a buzz cut, huge calves? I mean, that's like the prototype.
Is he wearing is that a watch or a bracelet on his right wrist?
It doesn't look like a fitness tracker.
Oh man,
yeah,
dude, not a wise choice.
Yeah, that's why we don't have referees or quality umpires, because of the parents that do this kind of crap.
Yeah, dude. I mean, there's a whole. Yeah, I don't know if you ever watch HBO Real Sports. Brian Gumbel's been hosting it for like 25 years, but there's a ton of youth sport referees that are like legit scared for their lives. Like, they've had to run to their cars. Like, you're hearing all these crazy stories. It's insane. Like how dangerous reffing youth sports has become. Because
at
parents
the lowest level.
Because parents are fucking nuts, man. I mean, what could have been? There is no reason. You know what I mean? And so, I was going to ask, have you ever? I mean, we both grew up in the same town. I never saw anything like this before. Did you?
I've never seen anyone get physical with an umpire. I have seen parents getting physical with other parents.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, Little League baseball at Knock Park. Shout out Knock Park. You know where that's at.
It's like 5 minutes from here.
We were in it was like majors, and we had a kid on our team.
Dude, Little League majors, people are nuts.
It's competitive. Yeah. We had a kid on our team, and he cried a lot. You're 13 years old. You're not supposed to be crying when you strike out. So the kid starts crying. He sounded like Herman Munster. He was crying. And then the dad, he got laughed at or something, and the dad came in, and he was like, "I'm a firefighter." And the kid's like, "My dad's going to kick your ass." And like the parents started getting into it, and they went around the dugouts, and it got like out of hand, and we were just like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" So that was the most memorable thing that came to my mind was two parents on the opposing teams. Their kids were, arguing.
That's awesome, man. I'm not going to have to worry about that for me. My wife, on the other hand, I could see her getting super, super upset. Never coming to blows, but definitely saying something. And then
Verbal altercation.
Yeah, and then me being like, please, I really don't want to step in here. Please stop.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, though, John. A lot of the suburban parents, you can kind of get into it when they kind of almost deserve it. They're almost asking for it.
Uh-huh.
You've seen. I know I've
Sure.
seen some of these parents.
Some of these parents they're smart and they're fucking assholes, man.
Entitled.
Like they make I don't remember anything coming to blows ever, but I do remember a lot of like snide comments to the umpire, or it's like under their breath, like just loud enough so another player can hear them or someone else, like very stealth-like, but they're cunning and they're kind of assholes. I've definitely heard that for sure.
Yeah, they usually drive Range Rovers and make an absorbent amount of money.
Most of that, yeah.
Yeah. So,
not great to hang out with.
Indiana for you. Glad we caught that on film.
Shout out Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Fort Wayne.
I did live there for a brief time, but my parents don't do that, so I guess.
Then my mom got a job. You remember that?
No, wait. What are you talking about?
What was that from? Love Guru. It was a joke that he made, and he's like, "Then my mom got a job."
Oh my god!
Classic.
What a reference! Mike Myers' lowest rated movie he's
Hands
ever
down.
done in his life.
Might be Justin Timberlake's best movie, though.
My god! You could have quoted Austin Powers. You could have quoted Wayne's World, but you decided to go with his worst movie, The Love Guru.
Love Guru, yeah.
Nice job. Switching gears to the Cubbies. I'm getting a lot of 2014 Javy Baez vibes from Christopher Morel, who's just hitting absolute tanks. I think he has 8 home runs in 11 games, which is insane. Is he the next Javy Baez, or is he potentially better?
He's, I think, potentially better here, John.
As a fielder, I don't know.
If we're talking about Javy Baez, I don't think very highly of him. I don't think Baez produced anything, to this point at least, what Christopher Morel is doing. An OPS of 1.353. Insane. That's off the charts. That's more than Aaron Judge. He doesn't qualify because he doesn't have enough at-bats. Slugging percentage of over 950. I mean, you see his numbers here. And he's only had 48 plate appearances this season. You saw from Dom on Twitter, and he's talking about he's only 24 years old. He could have 40 home runs in his first 162 games, which is insane. A 123 WRC plus. For everybody at home, a 100 is average, so he's 23% better. Yeah, I mean, this kid is special, especially right now when the Cubs have not a lot to be excited about. Bellinger on the IL. Cubs aren't playing very good baseball. Their bullpen is absolute garbage. This is one of the shining points in their lineup. He won me a lot of money the other day. I did a 2 parlay with Schwarber and hit a home run. He has like 7 home runs in his last 10 games. The guy can hit for power. He also, I'm looking at his Baseball Savant as well, and if you look at his he's rated 92 percentile in max exit velocity, as well as his barrel percentage. I'm looking at his barrel percentage here.
He's a dude. He's a dude. Yeah, he's phenomenal. I mean, just definitely more power than Javy. I mean, I don't even think that's debatable. I've been incredibly impressed. Does Javy have the highest chase rate of any player in Major League Baseball history? We should hire an intern and have them look that up, because if he's not the highest, he has to be at least in the top 10.
John, we talked about this. Remember last season when we picked our busts and stuff? I said Javy Baez bust, and he had a 45% chase rate last season. I know he's obviously improved this season as it went on, but career-wise that you're saying, got to be up there.
Okay. So, Brooks Koepka just won the PGA Championship. We're kind of shifting into golf. I'm not very good, but I enjoy playing. I know you went golfing this weekend. For the first time in over a decade.
Easily, yes.
So I want to talk about your experience. Yeah, I've obviously play a couple times every summer, but if you haven't played in over a decade, things have changed a lot since 2013. What was your experience like, and how many people did you offend?
So my father-in-law joined a club here in South Jersey.
When you say club, do you mean a country club?
As opposed to what's another club?
There's golf clubs memberships, and then there's like swanky country clubs.
This wasn't.
It's not like Caddyshack. Okay, White Eagle. Okay.
This was it was a nice course, but the clientele, nobody's like snooty. It was very lax.
Cool.
Relaxed
That's nice.
feel, which made me feel comfortable, especially being a guy who they don't have a driving range there. So I'm literally raw dogging this course, John.
Yeah.
Haven't
Gotcha.
taken a swing in 10 years or whatever, besides Top Golf when I went 4 years ago. So I'm coming
How many people did you hurt or possibly kill?
John, how about this? How many balls did I lose? One.
I would say per hole, no way. You played
One
18
ball.
holes. You played
No.
18 holes? No,
played
9
nine.
and you only lost
Played
one? That's
nine.
pretty good.
That is good. Like I said, I'm raw dogging the course here. I didn't warm up. I wasn't hit the driving range. I did a couple of putts, and then it was game time. I lost one ball, and that's because I hit it over into the water. So that I was, pretty worried that I'm going to be losing all these balls, and it's going to be embarrassing. But I played very well for the circumstances.
Did you have clubs? Did you have to rent clubs, or just have them laying around?
So I'm a lefty, and so is my
So am I.
father-in-law. So we shared clubs. I'm getting.
He's a
my
lefty
chip
too?
He is. Yes.
Wow.
It was Destiny. Yeah. So it was really good, John. And I never
Was it
liked
just you two?
It was a foursome. It was
Two randos?
no. My wife's uncle and his son as well. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
very familiar with them. So it's 4 of us. Had a good time. I did it well, like I said, for the situation. And I don't, I want to make this like my entire personality now. This is where it came into it. I went and bought 2 hats today and a polo. Spent over, $150 on golf gear today. I went one time. I'm talking to my parents. I'm like, Mom, can you have my clubs shipped from Chicago here? I went on to shipmysticks.com.
Yeah, Ship Sticks was pretty sweet.
So I'm trying to figure out how to get my clubs here, and
Uh-huh.
I can see why it's nice. We went outside. It was a beautiful day. We pushed
Yeah.
the cards. You get some fresh air.
You can see why people like especially when I go down to Florida. My parents have a place in Florida, and then I just see people there that they bought a place there for the sole reason to play golf every day, and you play a little bit, and you start to see, oh yeah, I could definitely do this. If I didn't have to work or money wasn't an issue, where I could just play every day because you're out in the sunshine and it's fun, it's challenging, but it's also really recreational and very social. So you could totally tell. It's also great to be good. It's nice to be good at every sport, but if you're good at golf, it's really enjoyable. You can drink. It's really, really fun if you're good at it.
The thing too, John, is I played softball before I moved. I was on a softball team. I had a bunch of guys. I don't have that here. But everybody plays golf. Everybody plays. So you can go out with whoever. I got messages today. They're like, when are we going out? I'm like, sick, dude. I'm making new friends. Everyone wants to go play golf now.
That's so funny. They're super into golf. That's what I'm doing here. I'm in a softball league. We're 3-3 right now, but I am playing pretty well. Of course, I did hurt my hamstring, the third play of the game, but I get it through. And but it's so funny that it's not softball. It's golf. I would have never picked that as the friend, the communal friend thing.
You know what the best thing too is the outfits. I went to.
Well, you can do so much now.
outfit.
Well, now, golf has come a long way with younger players introducing different styles and colors. So, and there's a lot, and also because of the internet too. There's so many new brands out there that produce really kick-ass golf, cool stuff. So your attire can be phenomenal, and you can go socks, shoes, shirt, short, belt. There's a whole different wardrobe I have buddies who are super into golf. They have they have certain closets that are just fucking golf, and it's awesome. It's super fun to like dress up, kind of.
I do. No, you're right. I do love the attire. That's why I said
mix and match hats, colors.
Yeah, I bought a white hat, a black hat, a cool shirt. So I'm freaking pumped. But I was telling you, after sports, life after sports for most men, I say you fall into 3 categories, right? You fall into craft beer. You're either into IPAs, you're into smoking meats, or you're into golf.
It's so funny because well, it's pretty accurate because I have a cousin who changed his personal Instagram to Chai Daddy Smoke, and he's smoking meats, and he's like trying to promote it. Shout out to Chai Daddy Smoke, Frank Williams. I think he has like 9 followers, but he's putting it out there.
Sure.
But dude, that's so funny. Yes, craft, and I have a buddy who's super into craft beer. He took his whole family from St. Louis up here. He has 3 daughters that are all under the age of like 6 or 7, and his wife. But like they came up here because he wanted to do this like craft beer thing, and that's like why they made the trip up. It was like they made a whole weekend out of it, which is crazy. But like he's super into craft beer. My buddy's super into smoked meats, and then there's a ton of people that are into golf, like for sure.
Yeah. So I love craft beer, but I'm still on my sober kick. Haven't broke, so I've been sober for a while.
How many days is this?
I didn't even start counting.
Good for you.
It was probably like 3. Like I don't want to like even count. It's just like a part of my daily thing now.
There you go.
So, but yes, I do love IPAs. The smoked meats, John. Why would I want to take something and make it as long as possible? You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, I have these delicious ribs. Let me wake up at 5 a.m. so I can eat them at 6 o'clock tonight. To me, that doesn't make sense. It's just not one of those things like, let's elongate a process that I want to eat food for.
But that's exactly what you're describing with all 3 different facets: golf, craft beer, and smoked meats. It's all the art of killing time. You're like, how do I want to spend time? Like golf is also a tremendous time suck. It's 4.5 hours. And you're just fucking hitting a ball and driving a cart. Like the same thing could be said about smoking meats. The same thing could be said about craft beer. Same could be said about watching a 3-hour baseball game. You know what I mean? Like my wife had a pretty good, she kind of got me because she watches certain reality TV shows, and some are better than others. But there's one that is so fucking bad that I feel like it kills brain cells, and it's Big Brother. No, Big Brother on CBS. She's been watching it forever. It's so fucking dumb. I can't stand it. Like, I can't be in the room if it's on. And then I was just like, I feel bad now because I do shit on it a lot and make fun of it. And then it's so hardcore where she just, like, doesn't watch it. Like, I've made it so bad where she doesn't even put it on. And then she did say, she goes, I work a really strenuous job that I have to make a ton of decisions. I want to come home. I don't have to think about a thing. I want something mindless and something light and entertaining, which is why fucking AI is going to come for all of the TV writing jobs because that shit sells, which I'm really worried about. But she goes, it's the same thing for baseball. She goes, I don't enjoy a 3-hour baseball game, but you just like relax and enjoy it. And I was like, yeah, I guess it, it is there's definitely strategy involved, obviously, but I'm like, I get it, So, like, I still don't watch the show, but I definitely don't, really, like, rip into it. By the way, that jury duty show that you mentioned, I am hearing about it on every fucking podcast I'm listening. People are like, you gotta watch this. It's amazing. James Marsden's awesome. I've been really I've been busy. Alex is gone, so I'm solo dad right now. FYI, if you can see, here's the baby monitor.
Got that same one.
Responsible dad.
IO pick or something, right?
Something that isn't Wi-Fi dependent, just in case, because we have to bring this to my parents' house, and they never can remember their fucking Wi-Fi password.
Yep.
But yeah, dude, everyone has been talking about that show. I've been watching, I've watched Marvelous Miss Maisel. Succession was fucking amazing. I know you don't watch that show, but it was amazing. There's one more episode last night. But I promise you, by next week, and I get it because it's part of Amazon, Freevee or whatever the hell it is. Yeah. I'm going to watch it. How many episodes are there?
There's more than a couple.
Also, I have a background in improv, so I can't believe I'm not watching it. 8? Okay.
Yeah, John, seriously, it's... You know the premise of it.
Okay,
it's like,
cool.
Like a Borat almost thing.
So the premise of the show, Jury Duty, is... Can you explain it, please?
Everybody's in on it, John. There's no script.
Got it.
You just know what's going to happen today. We're going to be reading opening statements, guys, okay? And someone's going to be doing this and that, and it's like, ready, go. And they're all actors. Everyone's in on it but one guy. And this guy,
Do you know who the guy is?
Yes. And John, he's the nicest guy in the entire world. If I got cast for that, the show would have been over in a half hour. They put him like the weirdest situations, and he's so kind and understanding. I'd be like, get the fuck away from me, dude, or like you're creeping me out. It would have been done, a wrap. So check it out, and then we can recap it.
Gotcha.
Because it's worth it.
So life after sports falls in 3 categories. Do I? Out of craft beer, smoking meats, and golf, I have to pick one of those 3, or can I pick my own?
I mean, mine was pretty fluid. I went from the craft beers to now I'm in golf. So maybe it's you fall into one of those and you kind of slide around and give it all a shot.
Well, one, I wrote a book, so I do enjoy writing. Although right now I can't muster any energy to write right now. But I would say softball would be mine too. Yeah, I think. If I had to pick one, probably golf, but I just do not have the time to dedicate to golf. Also, I get really competitive, and golf takes up a ton of time. Like, if you want to get better at golf, you got to fucking practice a lot. You have to be out there all the time. And also, we live in a cold weather climate, so it's always not conducive. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's always going to be an issue, but probably golf. But softball right now, 3-3. We're gonna take 2 tomorrow night. I want to talk about Connect jerseys. So Orioles came out with a new Connect jersey. Wanted to get your take on it, yay or nay. I'm going to share my screen for the not listeners, the viewers.
John, if you guys know, hey, Baltimore, we picked you guys. You're going to be in the next round for City Connect jerseys. The B on the hat obviously stands for boring because it doesn't stand for Baltimore.
Also, there's no orange reflected at all anywhere.
There's no reference of a bird. I thought you go the bird route, right? You have an Oriole, you have a cool logo, you can do something cool with it. I like the little. It looks like the autism puzzle piece with the colorful. You know how the autism puzzle piece has like the colorful frills like that. That's what it reminds me of, but they did it just on like the rim of the jersey. This is just so lazy, and I've seen so many of these City Connect jerseys that are lazy. Even the Cubs one, it just says Wrigleyville. I have it. It's lazy. It's boring. You want to have the City Connect jersey? What is
the Cubs City Connect jerseys are pretty popular. That hat with the C and the star.
I like the hat.
That hat is awesome. I have seen people. Yes. I've seen that everywhere. That's probably, I have no data to back this up, but I would say out of all the City Connect hats, that is hands down one of the most popular hats. I've seen it in a lot of different places.
I love that hat. Yes. But look at this jersey, John. I mean, what do you see here that's special? If you are an Orioles fan, are you running out to get this?
No, I'm getting a lot of like WBC Great Britain gray jersey vibes, like boring as shit.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. Like City Connect, like what's the rationale? I want to hear the brand team who came up with this design and the people who approved it. Like, what's the concept? Why did they choose these colors? What is it for? Like, sort of gay pride, like I guess a little bit, but it's not exactly the colors. Like, what's the rationale? It doesn't make it makes zero sense.
It's just the city name and then a little bit of color on the sleeves. The hat is boring. A white B in some kind of cursive font.
Well, the jersey's boring. The jersey's super boring.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be, because I'm enough of the, you say the old man, grumpy, get off my lawn, and I totally get that, but, like, none of these aren't impressive. The Reds, I thought the Reds were pretty good.
The Reds are pretty good, but give me something about Baltimore. What is something, City Connect, like you're trying to connect with the city. As a person who isn't from there, give me something that I can connect to or some signifier from Baltimore. At least the Chicago flag had the star, so like everyone is pretty familiar with the Chicago flag with like the blue stars and the so like I think that got across. But for this, I really don't know what they're doing with these multicolored like inside flat.
Baltimore's a beautiful city too, John. I know a lot of people have misconception about it.
I have a cousin who lives there, and I really want to go to a game at Camden Yards. It's one of my bucket list things.
I met my wife there. I met my wife in Fed Hill, where she lived. She was teaching. Baltimore by the harbor, very beautiful. The stadiums there. Camden, obviously historic. The Ravens Stadium was really cool. I've been to both of them.
Yeah.
They have a very popular beer there. I forgot what it's called. It's got a guy with a monocle. They could have incorporated that. And do something with the bird, too. I mean, you got a cool orange-black bird. Swing and a miss, John, for me on this one.
Agreed. It sucks. But we have not been fans of quite a bit of this Connect jerseys.
I told you that the Reds one that just came out I thought was decent.
Hold on.
It says Cincy.
Give me a second.
Thought it was decent.
Give me a second.
Wasn't a fan of the hat. I thought the hat was kind of weird. It was like a chunky C with some stuff around it. But I thought the jersey is pretty not bad.
Let's see.
Worse.
Give me a second.
Uh-huh.
All right. I just pulled it up.
White Sox, I think, have the best one.
That's pretty sweet. That works.
This one, right?
I like
Cincy.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
That C is cool. The helmet is freaking sweet.
Helmet's clean.
That's awesome.
Right?
It's clean.
Yeah.
Yep. That's sick, dude. Cincy and then the Jordans shoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot you could do with them. Yeah, I like them a lot. They're pretty dope. And the socks are cool too.
Yes.
Yep. Nice.
Well, maybe that's what's getting people out to the ballpark, John, because
Definitely.
This weekend I was a part of it. I was at the Phillies-Cubs game. Probably one of the more boring games I've been to in a long time. No runs scored until the 7th inning. But this weekend, MLB had an attendance of 1.5 million people attending baseball games around baseball. This was the best weekend in attendance in months of April and May since 2017, John. But remember, baseball is dead. Baseball is dead.
Or it could be correlated to the rule changes that you absolutely hate. So do you want to give?
Knew that was coming.
So do you want to give some credit where credit is due? Do you think that's just by accident?
How about we credit global warming to that? It was a beautiful weekend. That's why I went.
The Reds are equally as bad as they were last year. What has changed? What has been the biggest change last year than this year? Okay, one thing, there was no lockout, so that spring training happened on time. I'm sure that was nice. But the other biggest reason is games are shorter, and they're a lot faster. And,
they are flying by.
And people are enjoying them, except for old man, get off my lawn, you.
You know what, John? The first 5 innings of the game I went to on yesterday, did fly by. I was like, man, this game is going by quick. I didn't know if I liked it or not, but it did go by quicker. Very noticeable.
Of course.
So, yeah.
Did you? And so, okay, so is that a tacit admission that you actually enjoy it?
It was a admission to
Well, you're working.
Noticed.
The audience.
Noticed that it was
I just want the audience to know who's listening that he's really trying to work through this right now.
You know what, John?
He's struggling.
There were no strikes or balls admitted to either team, so I was okay with that because we've talked about it before. I don't like when you were handing out balls and strikes to other teams, but it moved by quick. And for a boring game that was 0-0 until the 7th inning, you know what? Maybe I did appreciate it.
Speaking of something that wasn't boring and I saw live, Schwarber's upper deck tank off a tie-on in the first, that hanging curveball. My God.
That was on Friday.
Jesus Christ. I watched it live. I was like, "Oh my God." Just forget how and he was just so chill about it. He just, as soon as he hit it, he just kind of dropped his head and it just went like in the upper deck, like he destroyed it.
It leaves the ballpark incredibly.
It was so fast. So fast. I remember, I don't know if Joe Buck or Smoltz was doing a game. I can't remember who was. Well, it definitely wasn't Joe Buck because he's not doing baseball anymore. But it was the play-by-play guy who was with John Smoltz, and he had hit a home run against the Padres, and it just left in like, it was just like a fucking rocket out of there. Like Joe Davis it was. And he was just like amazed. I don't think he had ever called a Schwarber game yet. And he was like, that was like, he goes, that was like the fastest ball I've ever seen, like leave a park, like into the second deck.
Bryson Stott hit a home run.
Dude, that guy's really good.
I heard these two idiots from Philly behind me. They're like, oh my God, that had quite the trajectory. And he goes, trajectory? The other guy's like, trajectory. He goes, trajectory? Trajectory. They were trying to like work it out. Just like two idiots. Trajectory? Trajectory? Yeah.
Idiot. Protractors, trajectory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of idiots behind me. They were obnoxious. I understand why.
Okay, I know that this is the last thing I'll say because I know we got to wrap quick. So last Sunday night baseball, the Red Sox mic'd up Tristan Casas, their first baseman. Can we stop miking up players that are boring? It is bad marketing, okay? I don't care how good the player is. Pick a player that's interesting, funny, a good storyteller. Stop picking random. Like, I don't, like, the novelty of someone mic'd up has worn off. Like, I'm over it. Like, okay, we're miking up infielders, we're miking up outfielders. Like, okay, fine. Like, mic up someone who's interesting. It could be a fucking bench coach. I don't want to see any more boring people mic'd up saying absolutely nothing. I want entertainment. And if you can't do it, then just don't do it. It's driving me crazy.
That was on Mother's Day. And, John, that wasn't even the worst thing that happened. How about the question that was asked? On Mother's Day, Tristan Casas' mother has died years ago. And then they asked him, Tristan, your mother is dead. What does Mother's Day mean to you? In so many words. They say she passed away. What is Mother's Day? What are you doing? Why are we asking a player on the field whose mother passed away? He says, you and your brother lost your mother. She died several years ago. What does Mother's Day mean to you? What the fuck are you talking about?
And the 2-1 pitch, yeah, it's so tone deaf and it's so forced. And that's what MLB marketing feels like. It's so fucking force fed down your throat. Like, we want to, like, okay, we picked him because his mother died. Like, dude, as an audience member, you're like, oh my God, like,
right?
What? Like, and he doesn't want to. That should have been a pre-interview, pre-game, like on a one-on-one with Eduardo Perez or Carl Ravitch talking about it. Like, that's different. That's
appropriate.
That's way more appropriate than to be like, all right, let's mic up Tristan Casas on Mother's Day so we can talk about his dead mom while he's fielding first base. Like, what do you got? Who's making these decisions? They're so tone deaf. They do not make any sense. And I just pick any. It doesn't have. It could be a bench coach. Like.
Those guys would be the funniest, by the way.
Yeah, like, dude, I listened to a podcast. Joe Madden has a podcast with Tom Verducci, and they had Mike Borzello, who's the bench coach with the Cubs.
You said Joe Madden and Tom Verducci have a podcast?
Yeah, it's called Cup of Joe. It's awesome. You don't listen to it?
Oh, yeah. I have no idea about that.
Oh, dude, it's great. It's great. It's really good. You should check it out. Verducci just kind of like sets the tone, the agenda, and then Joe just gives his analysis and his experience, and he makes it really easy on Joe. Tom is really smart, runs the whole thing, and he's like a walking baseball historian, so he knows, he can relate it to like a lot of historical references. It's just it works really well, and they have guests on, and they had Mike Borzello come on, who was the bench coach. And he was like, dude, he revolutionized like how a pitcher prepares and scouting reports and meshing analytics with gut feel. And it It was fantastic, and how every player's different, and how certain players want certain information, and players want a ton of information, and players don't want anything. You know, you talk about Luis Robert right now. Like Luis Robert wanted less information, and he's hitting the cover off the ball. Clear your head. But again, you have to know the players, and you have to know those type of reports. So Borzello just talking about how they would break down scouting reports and scout the other team and then prep the pitchers. And it was fascinating. Like, that's the stuff I want to hear about. So if it's not a player, and it doesn't have to be a good player, again, you don't have to market stars for entertainment. You want to market interesting. So find players that are interesting. Rizzo was mic'd up in that spring training game. Like, he's great. He's got a great personality. Yeah. He's fun. He's a good story. He can do it with such ease. He's a good storyteller. You could probably never do it with a pitcher. That'd probably be way too hard. But find a good position player who's doesn't have to be funny, just like a good storyteller. Someone who's got a couple of stories. Be like, hey, what?
Oh, All-Star game.
Yeah,
they did the All-Star game with pitchers.
Yeah, All-Star game with pitchers. But I'm saying if they're going to continue to do this mic'd up thing on Sunday night, like. Yeah. Pick someone who's interesting, and if it's not a player, pick a coach. Pick someone who has got a good story to tell, and do an audit. Like, be like, hey, like, you know. And if that I don't know, it just drives me nuts, dude. When I I can't take all these canned answers. I'm like, this is such a waste of fucking time. Like, just go back to the game. I don't want to hear.
That's
from you.
ESPN for you, John, and that's why there was a huge backlash. Real quick, backlash from Pat McAfee, who is getting out of his deal with FanDuel and leaving his own show and coming to bring it to ESPN. And everybody knows he didn't. He's like, well, I didn't know I was going to get such backlash because what he was getting $140 million. Joe. What do you need?
Yeah, it's about the money because ESPN has way more money. Like.
How much more money do you need? $140 million he got.
Well, you're also you're explaining the PGA Tour and LIV. Okay, why did Brooks Koepka? Why did Cam Smith? Why did Phil Mickelson leave the PGA Tour where they were making millions?
Playing the same game.
No, they're playing instead of 4 rounds, they're playing 3 rounds, and they get to wear shorts.
Was in charge of his show. He was in charge of his show. You know, when he's bringing that to ESPN, it's not going to be the same show. We're going to push the agenda that they have at ESPN, that whole bullshit that we're complaining about. You said those canned answers and all that stuff. Money.
But
it's not going to be the same product.
Money.
And that's why everybody was upset.
Yeah, of course. I totally get it. It's not going to be the same show. It's the same thing with Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert on Comedy Central doing the Colbert Report was fucking amazing. And the risks and the balls that him and his writers took. Like, you go back and watch some of those episodes, 2012, 13, 14. They're incredible. They're hilarious. The interviews are awesome. He's just taking shots. He doesn't care. He's on fucking Comedy Central. He goes to CBS. It's a different show. It's not as good. I don't watch him anymore.
When you're coming on after Dave Chappelle, it's a little different.
It's a different show. It's a different show. And the thing is like, he knew that. He was like, this is where I am in life. Like, I've done that show. I want to take over for David Letterman. I'm going to take over the Tonight Show on CBS. And that's what he did. He can do a show from that Sullivan Theater, and he's happy. You know, as long as you're happy, like, who cares? Like, McAfee, it's not going to be the same show. He wants to go mainstream. He wants the money. And he's going to be on, he's going to be on Countdown. He'll be on College Game Day. He'll be able to do.
He was on College Game Day before.
I know, and they're going to put him. They're going to put him everywhere to try to get his audience over there. It's no different. He's an influencer, and that's how ESPN looks at it. He goes, "I'm gonna take this influencer. We're going to throw fucking money at him, and then bring his audience to us. That's it. ESPN has the money, and he took it." Because I also think, too, like, he built something, and he did exactly what he wanted, how he wanted to do it, and now he's like, it's time to cash in. Just like what Bill Simmons did with The Ringer. He's like, I sold it to Spotify I'm still going to be able to do what I want, but I sold it to Spotify for $100 million. I don't have to own it anymore. Someone else can own it. I don't mind having a boss, And the other thing too is he's had a boss before.
Creative control.
Dude, everybody has a boss, man. Like he didn't he started his own platform. He didn't have a boss, but like he's he has a boss now, but he's making way more money than he would have if he didn't go to ESPN. Yes, of course he had enough, but it's always money.
Yeah, but I for me at least, there's a point. I make $140 million. How much do I need? 240? Is that going to make me any happier? I lose creative control. I can make my own hours, do what I want to. But I guess, yeah, that's sure. You can go ahead.
How long's that contract for?
It was like a...
Is he locked in for a while? Or can he get out of it?
I don't know the details. I know he broke the contract with his previous one with FanDuel.
FanDuel, yeah.
So there was some kind of opt-out in that as well. But
interesting.
That's the show there, John. Quality show.
Don't be too sad about Pat McAfee. He'll be fine.
No, yeah, I don't want to say sell out or anything, but yeah, it's just like the quality.
No, he's not going to be able to do. No, it's different. And yeah, of course, when you take the money, there's.
Oh, and how about this, John? Your boy, Aaron Rodgers, who comes on every Tuesday, do you think he's going to come on still?
No.
That dynamic is going to
change,
way. Right?
No. Well, I don't think he goes. I don't think he goes on that. I don't think he goes on that show. Although he's kind of changed his tune a little bit since he's gone to the Jets. Practicing with guys in the offseason, not something he normally does. Ingratiating himself, being humble. He's certainly changed his tune. I do wonder if he comes on to ESPN. And I also wonder, too, if that's part of the deal. It's like, all right, Pat McAfee, we're going to lock Rodgers in.
Yeah, well, we know how Rodgers is with contracts, right? Don't count on that. All right, John. That's another episode in the books for us. Coming in at 41 minutes. Right on time, dude.
Perfect, dude.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. We film every Monday night. They release on Tuesday when I wake up with my child and have time to upload it, so you can listen to it Tuesday mornings. Sound
Peace.
Good?
Sounds good.
All right, my man.
Later, buddy.